Hi, my name is Mark and welcome. So yesterday SSL released their new G3 multiband busglue compressor and today we're gonna check out what it can do. So here we are in Cubase. I have a session open of my hardcore band called Hater. We're recording a new EP right now and let's see what this thing can do. First I think we'll go over the UI a bit and check out the options. So it's a 3-band multiband compressor. We can slide the frequency ranges in 2 places. Let's see what this link does. It just removes frequency band from the detection and links 2 bands together to a single band. That's nice. And well, we have the usual threshold makeup, ratio, attack and release, and there's this new thing called drive. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Which I believe is the drive section from the SSL 4K channel strip. So we'll try this on guitars. These are pretty heavy guitars with a lot of palm mutes, and usually we'd like to control those. So we'll just solo the guitars. Let's look up a section. Oh yeah, the first is fine. And just solo this and see what we can do. So now we're soloing up on the low mids. Usually on the palm mutes these just push out of the spectrum a bit, and I think we need to control those. So just let's see what settings we can use to control the palm mutes a bit. Yeah, it seems to tighten up the palm mutes a bit, which is nice because we want to keep them a bit under control. Maybe we should like compress the lows like consistently, so we have a consistent low end. Just let's see what that does. And maybe we can add the ratios up a little bit. 2 might be a little bit too subtle. So let's see what this does bypassed and turn on. Yeah, that's nice. It's tightening up the guitars a bit, so we have them under control. That's cool. So let's check this in context a bit. Yeah, that's nice. It's a little bit more punchy and forward, and we're keeping the low end under control a bit more, so I'm liking that. Um, Another place where I usually use multiband compression is on the bass, and that's also mainly to control the low end and sometimes to duck out the kick. So let's see what we can do with this. In this case I used Pro MB, and it seems I'm just controlling the low end a bit and not doing any ducking. But let's try what we can do with the G3. G3. And we kind of have to pick our battles here a bit between controlling the low end and maybe ducking some stuff. So I guess I'll just put this down to somewhere like 85-ish for the low end and do like something like 85 to 180-ish for the ducking on the kick. We'll need to apply an external sidechain, so I just will add my kick key spike and turn this on. If we go to this view, we can use this headphone button to listen to the sidechain. So I'll put this on solo and add this so you can hear it. So now you're just hearing the key spike of the kick, which is triggering this compressor. And we have the low end band. So let's see what we can do with this lower mid thing with the ducking. It's ducking a bit. It's subtle actually, and let's see what we can do to this bass low end to control it more. For these low end compression things, I like to use the auto release. For the ducking, I have put it on the fastest. And now let's just bypass this thing and see what happens when we enable it. Again, it's pretty subtle, but it's definitely doing something. It's just tightening up the low end. So we'll keep this here. And another thing which I like to try with this is the kick itself. We have some fast double kick runs, which kind of bloom up in the lows. So let's just see what we can do in the kick bus. I'll add another G3 instance here, and I'll solo this, and let's see what happens with the kick. Well, as you can see in here on the double kick run, it just continuously climbs down a bit. I'm not using any makeup because I want to keep that low end under control. And another thing we can try is check a bit of the hunky mid-range and see what we can do to control that even more. I think I'll have to up this low end a bit, and maybe we'll go to like 700, 800-ish, and just solo this band, because this is like usually the pillowy, boxy kind of stuff on the kick, which you don't want anyway. And let's see if we can dynamically control that a bit more. Well, this is weird. If I change the ratio, the meter stops working unless I change the threshold again. That might be a little bug. So SSL, check this. Yeah, again, it's tighter. And we also have this drive section. So let's see what happens if we drive the top end of this kick and maybe get the click to be a little less clicky, but overall enhance the frequency spectrum. I'll just turn this on and we'll see what it does. It's pretty subtle, but it seems to round off the clickiness a bit, so it won't poke out as much, which I kind of like. So we'll just keep this and just check this in context again. Yeah, this is cool. Definitely on the faster runs, it's way tighter and more punchy. And the click is a bit more under control. It's rounded off a bit, and it kind of feels like it sits in the mix better. So that's cool. And another thing I want to try is to use it as a parallel. And I usually have this drum grab, which I need to find, which is here. And on that I have the native bus compressor 2, which is the full range version. And let's just hear this in solo. to see what this parallel drum comp sounds like. Well, as you can hear, this is really punchy and attacky, and I usually blend this in a bit to make the drum stand out more. But let's bypass this for now and see what we can do with the G3. So this high pass filter on the full range one is around 110. So I guess we'll just put that one here as well. Maybe we'll link these two channels and see what we can create. The attack, the ratio is pretty hard. Attack release is the fastest, and the attack is 20, which we don't have on this, so I guess I'll put it on 30 and see what happens when we dial in the threshold and makeup. In this case, I'm actually liking the full range version a bit better. It seems to be a little bit more grabby and punchy, and I'll just keep that. So we'll enable the full range one and remove this. Even though it's cool, I prefer the full range version on this. So let's pull it down again. And another thing we can try is just to put it on a drum bus and see what happens. Let's solo the mid-range and see what we can do with that. I think I'm gonna go pretty subtle on the ratios here. Maybe do a 3 millisecond attack and an auto release, and just see what we can dial in. So you can see it's just grabbing the snare mainly, which serves my function for this usually. And I want to glue the high end a bit more together. So let's see what that does. So okay, let's bypass this altogether and just turn it on again and see what the difference is. It seems to be making the overheads a little bit more subdued and glued in, which I like. So it's a bit less pokey, and just try to drive the top end a bit and see what it does. Driving the low end is pretty subtle, but it's nice. So we'll just keep this. Let's turn it off and on again for one single time. Yeah, definitely seems more glued. We'll just keep that and just check it again in context. Yeah, it seems to tuck in the drums a little bit too much now. I guess I'll add like a 0.5 dB of gain, maybe 1 dB. Let's see what this does. Yeah, that's way better. It enhances the drums a little bit. And the last thing we'll try is to put it on a mix bus. I have this mix bus channel which routes into this mix bus hardware channel, which is a warm audio bus comp. And sometimes I'll have to add either a compressor or a clipper in front of it, just to keep it from going crazy and keep it in check a bit. So let's see what that does. Usually it's mainly the snare causing my bus compressor to hit a bit hard. So we'll just start with the low end around 160-ish, which is just below the fundamental of the snare. So we'll keep the low end clean, and we'll do this around 4.5, 5K-ish. And let's see what we can do to control the whole thing a bit more. The main thing I'm noticing right now is the guitars actually, as opposed to the snare being tucked in a bit more. It seems to thin out the guitars a little bit and make them a tad more wide, which I did not expect, but I kind of like it actually. Let's listen to that again. Yeah, it seems to bring everything a bit more forward, which is a nice surprise. Let's just try and drive up the high end again and see what it does. It seems to be adding a little bit more sheen. It's really subtle, but I kind of like it. I'll just push it down a bit. So that's it for today. This is the SSL G3 compressor. So my overall conclusion on this, well, I've been a subscriber of the SSL subscription thing, and I have all their plugins. And overall, it's kind of like a 50-50 hit or miss for me with their stuff. I really love the channel strips. I even have this UC1 channel strip controller. Stuff like the X gate or the X limiter, the LMC or the Fusion plugins are really awesome. On the other side, there's just some stuff I really don't care for, like the drum strip or the vocal strip. They don't do anything special for me. The SSL EQ2 is cool, it sounds great, but the workflow sucks with that little scrolly thingy, and I like to work fast, so it's a bit of a 50-50 thing. And where does this new G3 fall into? I think it's a hit. I like it. It's subtle, it's punchy, and you can do a lot of stuff with it. So I would say definitely check this plugin out, try the demo, and see if it works for you. If you like this video, please subscribe and hit the bell. Leave a comment what you think about the video or the plugin. If you have any questions, just send a message and we'll hang out in the chat. So thank you, take care, and bye-bye.